Jen. Jen is so fun. I can't wait for you guys to hear from Jen. Jen is going to be talking about something really cool, insights that she learned from a jellyfish. Jen, I don't know. I'm just going to let you take it from there. Take it away, Jen.
Thank you so much. Okay, as y'all can know, I like being super creative in how I communicate, and I'm a visual artist. So I'm Jen. I'm pink hair Jen with weirdo weddings and pink light images, and I just love having fun and being visual in talking and communicating. So if you look behind me, you can see this amazing jellyfish that I captured recently at a an aquarium, and I really thought about it's so weird because when you're a small business owner, you never stop really thinking about your business. And so I thought to myself, what are some things I learned from the jellyfish over here? So I wanted to go over that with you today, but I also want to thank Margaux and Shannon for doing this. This has been so much fun to watch. I almost forgot it was my turn. But what I want to talk to you about, there's a fact that maybe you know or don't know that a group of jellyfish is actually called a bloom. It's one of the terms you can use for a group of jellyfish. And I thought that was great because here we are the last 2 days. We're getting together, we're learning from each other. And it's been such an honor to like bloom with you all, even in these little 5 minute nuggets. So just that's a little fun fact for you. But the first thing that I learned from the jellyfish is that they're in movement almost constantly, because they're in the water, right? Like they're either self-propelling themselves with their little tentacles and their little appendages, and they're also going with the flow. And I feel like those are two ways in business that you can learn how to move. And by movement, you might have to define your own movement. Meaning, if you've got some goals that you're trying to reach, if there's some financial goals, some creative goals that you're trying to reach, the weddings industry is full of goals. We have nonstop goals, right? But I feel like the jellyfish teaches us a lot of things. There's a lot of intricate parts in the jellyfish that makes it move through the water, as well as the muscle contraction to push it through the water. So I feel like don't despise the small things that you do every day in your business to move forward. And then the second thing is sometimes you just got to go with the flow, with the current of the ocean. And it is a big place, but it also has its own flow to it. And when you're not resisting the flow, it's actually a more easy journey, I feel, in business. So it's kind of super, super fun to think about visually. As you can see, my friend behind me is kind of like floating upside down and sideways. You can kind of like, you can look at your business that way too. When was the last time you looked at it frontwards, backwards, sideways, and anything like this, a self audit of where you are in your business? So that's kind of insight number one for the jellyfish. The second one was the environment that these jellyfish were in. There was 4 or 5 different kinds of types of jellyfish in this aquarium, but I noticed that they all had a different spot that they were in. Some were in very large tubes with running water. Some were in open pools with a lid, no lid on top. Some of them were in tiny squares and some of them were in rectangles. And I liken this to, what pool are you in right now? What tank are you in? Are you in a tank that is just way too small and you haven't let yourself branch out into a larger tank? Or I like to also say, if you have needing something to challenge yourself or needing something to scare yourself just a little bit, why don't you try going into the open ocean, which I feel like is so scary for some of us because it feels like we're walking into these places that are so unknown. But I also feel like that's part of our life journey. You're a business owner and you get to make these decisions for your business. So when you think about the jellyfish, think about your business and your life right now. Are you stuck in a little tiny tank? Are you stuck in a giant tube with running water? Or are you ready to face the big, dark, deep ocean like your other friends? And when you get out into the ocean, that's why I started with the terminology bloom, is because I noticed that most of these tanks, there wasn't jellyfish that were alone. So I feel like the community aspect of the jellyfish and everything that comes together with this kind of creature, I think we all worked well together as wedding pros. And if we can all bloom together, then it's like one giant pretty picture and visual, as you can see. Because I really had to use it as a slide because I was like, I don't have time to do slides. I'm going to be too emotive and not trying to click things. But I felt like the jellyfish taught me a lot about going with the flow and also stepping out into the places where you need to break out of your own shell or you need to break out of your own restrictions and your own ideas. So, and you can find me very easily online at Weirdo Weddings. at Pink Hair Jen. I'm looking to get on the stage with you guys. I sent Shannon way too many fun ideas, and so I really hope that I get the chance to share them with you. This was a talk I made just for you guys today because I felt like a visual inspiration would really kind of help today kind of propel, go along. That way, you know, you can push and pull and move through the water at your own pace, and then also join your other jellyfish wedding pros. I don't even know where I am on time, but I covered
great.
everything.
You're great. You're perfect. You're perfect on time. And I love kind of looking at business topics in a different way. So I love it. And I personally, I put it in the chat, I think jellyfish are so beautiful. So
They
fun,
are.
Jen. Thank you so much for joining us. All right.